Hi there, Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another Richard's Rock Rambles Hidden Gems. So, if you talk about Canadian rock bands, what are the first bands that spring to mind? Well, there's Rush, the great progressive rock group, Triumph, hard rock band, also Threesome Trio, Mahogany Rush featuring Frank Marino, Pat Travis, and there are numerous others. And then there's a band called Black Mountain. Excellent band, very different. They're not a band that you can just put into one sort of pigeonhole them. They're not just a hard rock band. They've got a lot of psychedelia in their music. Sometimes they can get quite heavy, almost to the same level of, say, a Black Sabbath. They can get quite mellow. And what's interesting about them, and what I like, is that there's a female and a male sort of fronting the band in the vocal department, which gives it a nice sort of balance. And it works, especially in the more psychedelia, sort of eerie parts to their music. Very different band, but one which I've grown to love. I think I was first introduced to them around the time that they first came out. They've been going since 2004. And sadly, a late friend of mine departed now, Paul Knott, over in the UK. He sent me one of their albums and I was hooked. Very different band, and that's what I like about them. They don't follow any trends. They just do their own thing. So the album we're going to talk about, I think, was either their third or fourth album, and it was called Wilderness Heart. And so that's what we're going to chat about today. Any of their albums are worth checking out, but this one in particular really grabbed me because it's a lot of light and shade. It gets quite heavy in spots, like I said. It gets very eerie, very sort of freaky, different kind of, it's different music. That's what I like about it. And I think there were a few music videos as well that were taken off this album that you can check on YouTube. So when was this released? It was released on September the 14th in 2010. So this would have been around, I think, the third or fourth album. And it was produced by the band. They didn't have an outside producer, and they did a pretty good job. Great sound to this album. The heavy songs are well produced. It's not muddy. You can hear each instrument, and some great vocals as well in this album. So like I said, they're psychedelic prog, and I suppose you could call them alternative rock if you like, which is a kind of a strange word. I mean, what the hell does alternative mean? It could be anything. So they're from Vancouver in Canada, and they were formed in 2004, like I said. So who's in the band? The main guy is a guy by the name of Stephen McBean. And he's got a few side projects as well that he does, but this is his main band, although they don't release that many albums. I mean, they've been going since 2004, and there's only like 5 or 6 albums, maybe 5. On bass, you've got Matthew Cameron, Jeremy Schmidt on organ, synthesizers, and mellotron, which is really cool. And I think if you think a mellotron is something, it's an instrument pretty much from the 70s, but they use it really well in this album as well. Then you've got a lady by the name of Amber Weber who does vocals and percussion. Really strange voice, but unique to this band. And it works. Cheers. And then finally in the band, in this particular album, Joshua Wells on drums, piano, vocals, and percussion. So he does quite a bit. The band has changed since this album. I think Amber Weber has left, and there's another lady now who sings for them. Does a pretty good job as well, although I do miss Amber's vocals on the newer albums. And so 5 albums, and they've done 5 EPs thus far, and I think they've also done music for a movie. Not a big movie, nothing that was for general release. I think it was one of the sort of TV movies. And they did the music for that. So let me give you a shot of the album cover there. There we go. The shark, the great white shark there. Wilderness Heart. Not much at the back, just the songs at the bottom. And in fact, there's no photographs in this album at all of the band. So I can't really show you what they look like. And there we have all the lyrics to the songs. And I think at the back here, just tell you Matthew Cameron bass and baritone guitar, Stephen McBean vocals, acoustic and electric guitars, Jeremy Schmidt, organ synthesizers and mellotron, and Amber Weber, vocals and percussion, and Joshua Wells, drums, piano, vocals, and percussion. So there's nothing else that I can show you, unfortunately. This hasn't been given like a deluxe treatment. This is pretty much all you get. And I think it's the same if you get, I think there is a vinyl version of this available. So it starts off with a track called The Hair Song. Very weird lyrics. A lot of these lyrics to this band stuff is very sort of off the wall, left of center. And I think that's Stephen McBean. He's the main songwriter, and he likes to go a little bit off the beaten track. A really interesting music video to go with that song about a guy on a skateboard, young guy, and meeting this girl out in the forest, and so it goes on. Quite interesting. And that's The Hair Song. Then it goes into Old Fangs, Radiant Hearts. And what I like about these tracks is, besides the lyrics, it takes you to places, you know, and it's got sort of hooks and melodies that stick in your head as well. Roller Coaster, and then my favorite track on here. I mean, when you play this track, just crank the volume up, because it's almost as if you can imagine Black Sabbath mixed with, I don't know, something like The Cult, maybe. It's a really fast track. Drums are amazing. The drum sound on this album is incredible. Great riff on the guitar. And and there you can hear Amber, what's her name? Amber Weber on vocals. In this track, Let Spirits Ride, her voice just adds a little thing, something a little extra to the track. That's my favorite on the album. Buried by the Blues, as the title suggests, slightly slower track, sorry. The Way to Gone, the title track, which is a really cool track, quite long. Wilderness Heart, The Space of Your Mind, and then Sadie is the last track. I would say that if you're looking for something a little different in a band, and you harken back to the sort of late 60s psychedelic era, lots of eerie guitar sounds, synthesizers, a little different, this is the band for you. I mean, this isn't your common or garden variety hard rock album, blues rock album, metal album. They have their own sound, which is why I like them. I like bands that have their own identity, their own stamp, and these guys definitely have it. It's on a very small label called Jaguar, which is kind of an independent label, and I think I've been on the same label right from the beginning. They release an album, let's say one every 2 or 3 years, and like I said, they've done 5 and a couple of EPs as well. So there we go, Black Mountain, Wilderness Heart. If you haven't heard of these guys, or if you haven't heard these guys before, I urge you to check them out. They're well worth a listen. Another great export from Canada. That's me, guys. Take it easy out there. Look after yourselves. Down below, give me a thumbs up. Any comments, more than welcome. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Take it easy. I'll catch you soon. Cheers.